Alright guys, it's time to pick our route proper in Taisho Alice. And as promised, we are going to start with the man with eyes as dull as cinders. I choose you, Cinderella. I choose this one. Together, you and Alice reach out to the mirror. Well, I reached out and probably dragged Alice with me. Then you walk through the glass and jump down into the looking glass world. I think secretly he wanted to come along with us. I mean, he could have probably pulled away. Of course, now you do the intro. Well, we've seen the intro already. Gosh darn it. I just cannot pick when these intros play and when they don't play. It's fine. I'm a professional. Guys, don't do this at home. You'll just get hurt. Allow me to get hurt on your behalf. It's fine. Moving on. It's fine. Once upon a time, in the looking glass world, there lived a selfish, arrogant young upstart named Cinderella. His father, a commoner, was the founder of Cinder Textiles, a self-made man who had amassed an incredible fortune over his lifetime. Heir to his father's assets, Cinderella grew up having everything handed to him on a silver platter. And as an adult, he became a notorious playboy. Oh, this is what we're dealing with our first route? Okay, delightful. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Alright, here we go. Welcome to my party. Wine and dine to your heart's content. Tonight it's all on me. Hooray! Every weekend he held a banquet. He wore only the finest clothes from the finest brands, and his wrist watches were all studded with jewels. How many watches do you need? Crowds of people flocked to him wherever he went.
Hi there! Great party! You bought this cafe for its primo location, I'll bet.
Yeah, more or less. Property investment is where it's at these days, you know. And the land value in this neighborhood has been skyrocketing.
That explains the new car and watch, not to mention that ring you're wearing. What a gorgeous shade of blue! Reminds me of the ocean.
Oh, this old thing? Bought it off some foreign merchant. Want it?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I'll give you everything you could possibly want. If you'll be with me tonight.
Oh my goodness. We're getting such strong Elt feels from this guy. I can't believe this is our first guy we're dealing with. Well, at least I'm somewhat prepared for this, I guess.
Oh, of course. I'll look forward to it. Mwah!
Mansions, condos, luxury cars, you name it. Are we still, like, I guess we're in a version of reality? I'm confused. If he wanted it, he bought it. Including women.
Thank you for inviting me tonight. I appreciate this opportunity to meet people and enjoy a night of music.
No problem.
So, have you had a chance to consider that loan proposal?
Huh? Oh, right. That. Sure, I'll loan it to you. As much as you need. Just say the word.
Thank you so much! You're a saint, sir!
He lived a glamorous life most people could only dream of. All who knew him respected him, feared him, and eagerly kissed up to him. And yet he was lonely.
Hey! Snow! Gretel!
Snow White! Hello, Snow!
What do you need? There you are, Snow. Listen here, you little twerp. Quit slacking off. You're supposed to be waiting on these people, not kicking back with a novel.
Cafe's closed. I'm off the clock.
As far as I can tell, you're always off the clock.
Cinderella had 2 younger brothers, neither of whom looked much like him. Are they stepbrothers? He made them both work for him at the cafe. From cooking to cleaning, he forced all the most annoying jobs on them. I love this. I love we have an inverted Cinderella in more ways than one.
Where's Gretel?
Beats me. Probably cooped up in the kitchen making desserts.
Baking again, eh? I wish he'd funnel that passion into his work. Maybe then we'd turn a profit. So, you're really gonna leave me hanging here? You think you're too good to join the party? Is that it?
Oh, buzz off, hypocrite. You ran back here as soon as you could, and you're the host.
Huh! Yeah, well, I think I've earned the privilege. Who's footing the bill for this shindig? Me. Who owns this house? Me. I've got the money, so I make the rules.
Curtsy.
Yeah, whatever.
Besides, I enjoy how flustered they get whenever I disappear. They're only here to mooch off of me anyway. Give me your ring, give me a loan. Idiots. So I act real nice, make him feel good. And then I leave him high and dry. The looks on their faces, I tell you. Priceless!
You're such an ass.
Oh, I'm the bad guy. Do you know how much this ring cost? Like hell, I'm giving it to that bimbo. And no, I'm not loaning out my money, dumbass. It's not my job to bail your company out of debt. You know how I handle these uppity snobs? I take 'em down a peg. That's how I get my kicks.
Uppity snobs, huh? Have you looked in the mirror lately?
Excuse me? Did you say something?
Not a word.
Whatever. Forget it. I'm thirsty. Give me a drink, would ya? Chop chop.
There's nothing for you up here. Just go back downstairs. Plenty of drinks out there, or so I hear.
The second I walk back out there, they're gonna swarm all over me. You know that.
Well, why not step outside or something?
I don't feel like it.
Then enjoy the swarm.
All right, pretty boy, that's enough. Oops.
What did you do to... Did you activate, like, his one, no rule? Like, I will break your neck if you call me that again. Hello, Gretel.
Oh, here you are, Cinderella. Your guests are asking for you.
Oh, Gretel, perfect timing. Give me a drink, would ya? If you don't have one, go get one. That's an order from your older brother.
No, thank you. Go get it yourself. Oh, and by the way, this is for you. It's shortbread, my new recipe. I don't want it anymore, so feel free to dump it on your patrons or dispose of it as you please.
It's your shortbread. You hand it out. Don't make me do your work for you. Why didn't you pass it out while you were down there?
Perhaps I would if I were on the clock, but I made this shortbread for myself, in my personal time, for fun. I didn't make it for the party. Sadly, I'm too full to eat another bite, so now I'm giving it to you. Essentially, these are my leftovers, and God knows Snow White won't eat them. I sure won't.
So you're giving me your scraps. Man, you know this crap's just gonna make my mouth dry, and I'm already thirsty.
Then go back downstairs and have as many drinks as you like. Besides, forcing us to work overtime is illegal. If you insist, I'll sue you for unfair labor practices. We'll go straight to the Labor Standards Bureau.
Is that really how you want to treat your own brother? Sheesh. You boys are stone cold.
Hypocrite. Pot meat kettle.
Cinderella! Sir, where are you?
See? They're calling you, dear brother.
You punks! I'm gonna get you back for this!
He sounds like a third-rate villain. I do wish he would try to have some dignity. Alas, perhaps it's too much to ask for.
Good grief. You guys are all nuts. His heart, his money, his life, all the color in his world had faded to an ashen gray, and they called him Cinderella.
Anyway, I see you got stuck with the shortbread. Oh, crap. Cinderella, Cinderella, I don't know any of the words.
Once upon a time in the looking-glass world there was a mansion. I think that's me. I'm not Arisu anymore. It was nearly midnight, and all the good boys and girls were meant to be in bed, except for me. But as I was decidedly not a good girl, that night found me sneaking around the mansion in the dark. I'm glad you, acknowledge that. You're like, well, I'm a bad girl, so I'm sneaking around. Arriving at the front door, I reach for the knob. Poppet? Poppet? Who's calling me Poppet? Hello? Poppet?
Poppet, where might you be off to? I don't reckon it's safe for a bird like you to be out wandering the streets at night.
Ah! I yelped in surprise at the sudden voice behind me. That voice could only belong to one person. After all, he was the only other resident in this house. What's the matter, Kaguya? Why are you stopping me? Smiling nervously, I turned to face my loyal servant Kaguya, who grinned back. Servant? Holy Hannah, I can't make you disappear. This is very sad. I can't make this disappear. I gotta figure out the buttons. Oh, maybe... It works. Nice. What an outfit. I feel like this is an impractical servant's outfit, but that's just me. Why? Why are you cockney, Kaguya? I'm so confused. Obvious, isn't it? In it? You completely, throw me off, what kind of voice I should be doing for you. Well, we're gonna see what comes out, and that's gonna be your voice, alright? Alright, good talk.
It's obvious, innit? I'm your humble servant, aren't I? So I've got to look out for your safety, Poppet.
In case you're wondering, Poppet is a term of endearment that means something to the effect of sweetheart. While I'm at it, bird means girl, and innit is how he says, isn't it? Dialects are fun! Thanks, narrator. I'm not gonna put myself in danger. I'm just stepping out for some fresh air. Admittedly, this excuse probably would have been more credible if I hadn't been carrying a large suitcase in one hand.
Oh, I can see that. It's the duration, see, is the part I'm concerned with.
Don't worry, I'll come right back. I'm just going for a walk. Yeah, that's it.
A walk that lasts several days by the looks of it. Come off it. You're running away from home, you are.
Kaguya walked right up to me and snatched my suitcase away. I'm not running away. I'm just leaving for a while, that's all. Kaguya was generally a patient man, and my voice faltered in the face of his sudden naked fury. That's his naked fury? It's pretty chill.
I fail to see how that's any different, Poppet.
His smile didn't reach his eyes. Instantly, I knew he was going to do everything in his power to stop me. But I couldn't possibly back down, and so, clasping my hands together, I pleaded like my life depended on it. Please, Kaguya, let me go! Silence fell between us. When I finally opened my eyes again, Kaguya heaved the world's biggest sigh. Oh, hold on. There we go. That is so nice. I love when games let me go back and fix my mistakes.
Oh, let me guess. This has got something to do with that arranged marriage, hasn't it?
What arranged marriage, you ask, dear viewer? Let's rewind to a few days ago. Appropriate, considering I just rewinded. It all started one fine afternoon. What's this? Kaguya handed me a hot cup of tea along with a mysterious manila folder. Man, I'm getting Pendleton vibes all over again. Ugh.
An outline of your prospective fiancé. Description, photograph, family history, and all that jazz.
Since when do I have a fiancé? Sure enough, the folder contained a photo of a man I'd never met, as well as his personal records.
Well, it's not set in stone yet, is it? Just a potential suitor, really.
Interesting. Somehow it didn't feel real. Truth be told, I didn't know the first thing about arranged marriage. I gazed at the photo. There, the man was depicted holding a long stick of some kind. A billiard cue, perhaps? Why isn't he looking at the camera? This was the first question that came to my mind. In fact, the man in this photo scarcely seemed to have noticed the camera at all. Granted, this was my first experience with a prospective fiancé, as it were, but weren't they supposed to try a bit harder to look presentable? Dang, get roasted.
Oh, well, it's a paparazzi photo, see?
You took this without his permission? You do realize he could sue you for that, right? I looked up to find Kaguya smiling innocently.
Not to worry. He hasn't tracked me down yet,
Oh, so it's okay as long as you don't get caught? There were so many things wrong with that statement. I could have kept going. But I had a feeling I'd only end up giving myself an ulcer. My gaze fell back to the documents. All of his personal information was listed there, from his full name to his address. What sort of man is he, this Cinderella? Okay, so I don't blame her for wanting to be like, I want out of this arranged marriage. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
I don't have all the details myself, but I'm told he's something of an arrogant fop.
And why should I marry him? I had a feeling Kaguya probably shouldn't have let that slip, but he didn't seem all that bothered. I stared at him. He smiled sheepishly.
Poppet, you're not a little girl anymore. You do have the right to say no if you want.
But they don't want me to say no, do they?
Well, no, of course not. And the bloke's loaded by the looks of it, so if all goes well, we'd be set for life.
At this, I promptly dropped the folder back onto the table. Okay, that settles it. I'll meet with him and have the marriage talk.
Oh, excellent. I do declare.
Yeah? And that brings us to tonight, where I'm regretting all my life decisions.
I thought you'd already made up your mind anyway.
I said I'd talk with him. I never said I was ready to marry him.
If you ask me, people don't generally have marriage talks without the intent to marry.
I know that. In fact, it practically sealed the deal. I came from a fairly wealthy family myself, but from the sounds of it, our fortune was merely a drop in the bucket compared to his. And I knew our families wouldn't attempt to arrange this marriage unless there was some foreseeable benefit for both sides. So I wasn't about to throw it all in the trash just for my own convenience, not when I knew they were all counting on this working out. Meanwhile, Kaguya tilted his head at me.
Then what is it? Ah, maybe I shouldn't have called him a snobby, overbearing little posh boy.
You never said any of that. At this point, it's practically slander. I'm pretty sure I thought that, at least, and it was loud enough that I must have said it, right? You're really trying to downsell this guy, Kaguya. Like, what's going on?
Didn't I? Funny.
He was clearly playing dumb, of course. Why was he so eager to trash talk the Cinderella guy anyway, right? I cleared my throat. Listen here, Kaguya. I don't approve of you bad-mouthing someone you've never even met. Nor do I approve of gossip. That's why I've decided to see for myself exactly what sort of person he is.
Poppet.
Kaguya's smile weakened a fraction of an inch, so I pressed on. I know you'll get in trouble for this, and I'm sorry, but I can't stay here. If I don't do this, I just know I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. I can't marry a stranger. I need to learn more about him first.
That's all well and good, but I reckon you don't even know where he lives, do you, Poppet?
His tone was gentle. In response, I put my hands on my hips. Daijoubu, I've got this little beauty right here. I like that they kept Daijoubu in there, that's great. With an air of confidence, I pulled out the manila folder. The info doc inside had a mailing address listed for him. Thus, I decided I would track down his house, find him, and observe him for a few days. Unfortunately for me, life was about to throw a wrench into my plans.
That's his parents' address, that is. He's not living with them at present.
What? He's not? I stared blankly back. Nowhere in this folder did it say he was living somewhere else. This meant, of course, that my plan was sunk. After a long moment of silence, what will you do now that you're out of leads? I can't give up. I gotta find out about this boy. Kaguya, come on. Help a girl out. I'm gonna date you, like, a couple roots from now, so that's gotta count for something, right? Could you tell me where he's staying now? I put on my best puppy dog eyes.
Oh, I reckon there's not a man alive who could withstand your sweetness, Poppet. Certainly not me.
Thank you, Kaguya. And so it was that Kaguya joined me on my nighttime excursion. Well, if I wanted to go incognito, I'm kind of out of luck. Kaguya is such a great guy. Not only did he agree to come with me, but he insisted on carrying my luggage and even gave me his coat. A true gentleman. I should marry him instead. The end.
Oh.
Oh, and don't worry about my parents. I'll do everything in my power to vouch for you. And if they get mad about this, I'll explain to them that it wasn't your fault. Gasp. Though my parents frequently traveled all over the country for work and were scarcely ever home, they kept in regular contact with Kaguya. And on the off chance they found out about me sneaking out of the house at night to go track down my future fiancé, I knew they'd be furious. But Kaguya didn't deserve to take the brunt of that anger, and so I needed to stand up for him. After all, I was the one who dragged him into this.
It's my job to look out for you, you know.
Aw, pet pats already! I'm weak. He patted me on the head.
Nothing else for it. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Are you sure about this? If they find out how much you helped me, they'll grill you for sure.
How could I possibly leave my dear sweet Poppet in the lurch?
Thank you so much. I love you. Oh no! Oh no, poor Kaguya! Rip Kaguya. I was so touched, I wrapped my arms around his neck and gave him a big hug. He stroked my back like he was consoling a child. This was precisely why I liked him so much, because I am a child. This is where Cinderella lives?
Yup.
With Kaguya leading the way, we soon arrived at the shopping district. With its high altitude that kept things nice and cool in the summertime, the Looking Glass World was a popular resort location. The shopping district in particular was quite sophisticated. The main street was lined with museums and other historical buildings, and there were plenty of shops and cafes for the tourists. That said, they were all closed by now, as you'd expect from a sleepy little town like ours.
Totemo suteki.
What? I wonder if the idea is, like, people speak both English and Japanese here. It's kind of like, you know, English and French in Canada, or, you know, Dutch and English, or, you know, like places that have more than one language that you learn. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I've never seen a game do that before, but I kind of like it.
Stay close now.
Yes, sir! I dashed out into the... Stay close. I dashed out into the middle of the street and twirled around, giddy with excitement. The town's so pretty at night! Though the shops were all closed, there were still lights on in a few windows. But that wasn't the only light, of course. There were also street lamps, as well as the moon and stars shining down on us from high above.
Right you are. Nice and lively during the daytime, to be sure, but I much prefer the peace of night myself.
Behind me, Kaguya chuckled at my antics. Indeed, the shopping district was enjoyable at any hour of the day. I turned to respond. Ah! Whoops. Before I could catch myself, I slipped and promptly face-planted on the ground. I feel that.
Pop it!
Ow! That was painful. And by painful, I mean painfully embarrassing.
Are you alright?
Kaguya rushed over to me and helped me to my feet. Thank you.
Are you hurt? Are you bleeding?
No, I'm fine. My body ached from the impact, but otherwise I was fine. No cuts or scrapes.
You're not fine at all. Look at this. Your pretty dress is all mucked up.
He brushed the grime from my clothes. I couldn't see much out here in the dark, but evidently the dirt stains were especially noticeable on the white fabric of my dress. Oh, it's no big deal. It'll come out in the wash.
Give me your hand.
I did as requested, and he rubbed my palm clean with a handkerchief. Now your handkerchief's gonna be all grimy.
Doesn't put me out one bit. It's what it's there for, innit? Alright. Good. No cuts or bruises.
Thanks, Kaguya. He patted my head. Kaguya, you're distracting me.
Anytime, sweetheart. Now try not to give me a heart attack, could you?
Yes, sir.
That's my good girl. Let's take things a bit slower from here, why don't we?
Without hesitation, Kaguya took me by the hand and led me down the street. Aw, he's so protective and thoughtful and things. I'm worried about that. We'll be fine, right? Yeah, it'll be fine, I'm sure. And that's how we found ourselves standing outside a fancy brick building. What is this place? I had a feeling I knew the answer, but decided to ask anyway, just in case. Wouldn't want to bust down the wrong person's door, after all.
This is Cinderella's cafe. He lives on site.
Whoa, that's crazy! I'm impressed he started a business at such a young age. My interest in Cinderella instantly skyrocketed. Okay, tick in his favor. That info doc hadn't mentioned anything about a cafe. Clearly, I made the right choice in coming here to see him for myself. Or so I thought until...
Heard he bought it off someone for cheapest chips.
Cheapest chips. Oh my goodness. All these expressions are great. Kaguya unceremoniously killed my hype. Well, it's still really cool that he's running the place all on his own. I dug in my heels.
No, he's got other people running it. Apparently, he spends his time messing about elsewhere.
And so my dreams were summarily crushed. Instantly, my mental image of Cinderella transformed from a working-class hunk to an upper-class snob. I mean, it's accurate, but oof. I hastily shook the thoughts from my mind. After all, it wasn't right to jump to conclusions about someone I'd never even met. Geez, Kaguya, you must really have it out for this guy.
Not really, honestly.
He shrugged his shoulders, chuckling. I don't believe you somehow. Kaguya was normally a pretty nice guy, but for some reason all compassion went out the window when it came to Cinderella. I almost wanted to ask him if he was jealous, but I had a feeling he'd probably just dodge the question. I knew all of his usual tactics. Hoping to switch gears, I glanced back at the cafe. There was no sign out front, so it was kind of hard to tell it was a cafe at all. The lights were on, suggesting the place was still open, and I could faintly hear classical music playing over the low murmur of voices. Are they holding some kind of event here? Brimming with curiosity, I approached the front window.
Don't expect me to bail you out if you get caught, yeah?
I'll be fine. I slowly peered inside the building. Evidently, there was some sort of party going on. People were dancing, drinking, and generally having a good time. Now, which one of them is Cinderella? I scanned the guests, looking for the man from the photograph. Unfortunately, I had next to no confidence that I could pick him out from the crowd. Yeah, maybe not. I sighed.
What are you doing?
Ah! The sudden voice behind me made me jump out of my skin. I'm sorry! I'm not looking to rob you, I swear! What a thing to say. I whirled around, and my jaw dropped. Standing there was a guy dressed all in white. Oh, Snow White! My mind went blank mid-sentence. His striking appearance had completely blown me away. Everything about him was as white as snow, even his hair. I'd never seen anyone like him. He was beautiful. A moment of silence passed. As I ogled him up and down, the guy looked away from me and stared down at the ground in discomfort. I'm just picturing her with, like, bug eyes, mouth on the floor, like, oh, God. He's just like, you good? Sorry. Do you work here?
I might. What of it?
He didn't meet my gaze. Oh, gosh, what do I do? What the? Panicking, I turned to Kaguya for help, only to find that he had seemingly vanished, leaving only my suitcase behind. What the heck, man? I immediately looked around the area and spotted him waving at me from around the corner of the building. Why is Kaguya so chaotic? Do you know Attempting to bounce back from this betrayal, I decided to ask the guy flat out. But the words quickly died in my throat. What was I thinking? I couldn't ask him about Cinderella directly. As my prospective fiancé, there was a good chance that Cinderella knew all about me by now. And if he were to find me here, he'd surely realize I'd come here to essentially investigate him, and he'd probably be really offended. Not only would the marriage talks be called off on the spot, but Kaguya would probably get in huge trouble. And so silence fell between us once more. The first time I had a fairly good excuse, considering his appearance was so stunning. but twice? I really needed to get my act together. Girl. I struggled to think of an excuse.
You know, if you need something, you could just come in.
No, I can't.
Why not?
Because, I couldn't think of a good explanation for that either. Because I racked my brain, desperate to think of something. Anything. But in my panic, I could only open and close my mouth like a goldfish. Then the silence fell for a third time. My stomach let out a loud, gurgly growl. Thanks, stomach. That's weird. How am I hungry again after that big dinner we ate? He totally heard that too. Kill me now. The guy reluctantly took hold of me by the arm.
Just come on.
What? Huh? And so he led me away, his fingers like ice against my skin. Confused, I looked back at Kaguya, only to find that he had once again vanished into thin air. Et tu, Kaguya!